Thank you to my friend from Massachusetts. I have now heard several things from my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, and do want to respond as my colleagues have so much, and I want to join in all of their comments. I want to join in particular Congresswoman DeGette's thanks to everyone who's here from Planned Parenthood and supporting Planned Parenthood, who's with us through the night, for your commitment and for your work. But given my deep concerns with this provision, I do have some questions for counsel that I think are really important to cover. First, to understand the impact and what this language means in the bill. Under this section, the provision defines a prohibited entity that will be barred from receiving federal funds if it meets certain criteria. The criteria are very specific, as I said before, and they appear to be narrowly tailored to achieve a very specific goal. They also closely mirror a similar provision that this committee considered in 2017 to ban Planned Parenthood from the Medicaid program. It didn't become law, but it appears that that's exactly what Republicans are trying to do again now. So given these issues, my questions are as follows. To the council, does the definition of prohibited entity under this bill mean that Medicaid reimbursements for contraception care, cervical and breast cancer screenings, screenings for sexually transmitted infections would be banned if these services were performed by a provider who happened to work at a Planned Parenthood health center that separately provides abortion services?
Thank you for the question. If the facility that you described met the definition of a prohibited entity, then Medicaid payments would not be permitted to that entity.
Well, and that's my question. So a lot of Planned Parenthoods, for example, in my state, have separate entities. But this definition calls for affiliates and other entities. So given that this definition says a prohibited entity includes affiliates, subsidiaries, successors, and clinics, does that mean that even in states where abortion is banned, like Texas, where abortion care is not taking place, if a patient goes to Planned Parenthood for a pap smear, they can't be compensated for that care, that cancer screening that is absolutely critical, as we heard about from Representative Barragan? Could the provider not receive Medicaid reimbursements for those services because it's performed at a Planned Parenthood affiliate that does not provide abortions?
If the facility you described, whether it's affiliates or not, met the definition, then that would be correct.
Well, that's my question about what's in the definition. So I'm asking you what's in the definition.
I apologize. Could you clarify in regards to?
Sure. If a Planned Parenthood facility does not provide abortions, in Houston, Texas, if you don't provide abortions at the Planned Parenthood, but it is a Planned Parenthood affiliate, does that mean it's covered under this provision? Because it's affiliated with Planned Parenthood, and in other states, Planned Parenthood clinics provide abortion care.
If the entity you're describing or its affiliates, it would apply to the affiliates of any of the prohibited entities being described.
So even if you don't provide abortion, no money for Planned Parenthood, correct?
It would
That's a
apply to
policy, I
affiliates as well.
believe. That would be a policy of this committee.
Oh, that's a policy of the committee. Well, Mr. Chairman, can I ask you, is that what we're doing here? There's no money for Planned Parenthood, Mr. Chairman?
I'm weighing my question. I believe you're asking a legal opinion, and since I'm currently in senior status, I'm not sure I can give you one.
I don't know actually what senior status is, so that's probably another question for me. But I'm gonna hold that. Maybe we can circle back to it. It certainly sounds like council has said this is a policy decision, and it certainly seems to me like this is a policy decision. This is a decision that's driven by special interest groups that have, as their stated purpose, defunding what my colleague from Tennessee said was sort of an abortion, sort of big abortion. I don't know if anyone on the other side of the aisle can name anybody other than Planned Parenthood that meets this definition. Can anyone name an organization besides Planned Parenthood here?
If I'm, I think, I'm going back to the last question. I've been advised that CBO has given the opinion that the answer to your question, the previous question, was yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I'm running low on time, so I will yield back to my colleague from Massachusetts, and if any of my other colleagues have time, we have a few more questions for council. Thank you.